See me after the meeting, Tom. Okay. Calls the city council meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Reese.
Here.
Councilmember Osk.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Butterfield.
Here.
And Schultz.
Here.
Councilmember Fagerly is excused, so we have 8 present, 1 excused.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Osk.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
And Schultz.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passes. Call on our city clerk, Vernee Larson, for the consent items.
Mayor Reese and council members, tonight for your approval, I have the city council minutes of November 3rd, 2025, the Human Rights Commission minutes of October 28th, 25 as a draft, the Planning Commission meeting minutes of November 5th, 25 as a draft, the Willmar Municipal Utilities Commission minutes of November 10th, 2025, the Public Works Snow Pusher purchase, and the Accounts Payable report from October 30th, 2025 through November 12th, 2025. For your information, I also have the director's reports, the monthly building report from October 2025, the finance report through October 31st, 2025, and the Willmar Municipal Utilities financial report from September of 2025.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion?
Can we pull out item E? I'd like to ask a couple of questions on that.
All right. Further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Osk.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries. Steve, you wanted E?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I was just curious why we have one regular business item that is moving funds around that is half the price of one we're doing in the consent agenda. I was wondering why that wouldn't be a regular business item like the slide is. What's the distinction there? And then is this item, is it on our capital improvement plan? I don't remember seeing it. Maybe I missed it.
No, I didn't see it either.
So I just was wanting to know more about it since I didn't see it on the capital improvement plan. And I was wondering why it shouldn't be a regular business item instead of a consent agenda item.
All right. Who's going to handle that? Kyle?
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. The Public Works Snow Pusher purchase, Wyatt is on the agenda tonight, not included in previous capital improvement plans. Initially was not identified as a capital improvement purchase. However, the crack fill and seal coat budget came under budget, which allowed Public Works to look at other equipment that was desired for the removal and moving of snow. This is considered more of an attachment, but could be classified, it will be capitalized because of the amount of the purchases in. Why it's under consent and not regular business. I know the pool has been a topic that the council has undertaken or has had throughout this year. And thought it would be more relevant for that pool item to be at least be on regular business since it has been a topic that the council has had previously this year. Other than that, there is not a standing that agreements or contract purchases would go to regular business or consent agenda, but we can make it a practice to make sure that's included in regular business. But the reason being, the pool items is because they had been talked about at the council table previously this year.
Was there a reason this wasn't in previous, did I miss it in the capital improvement items somewhere, or is it on that list somewhere?
Yeah, that's a great question, Councilmember Gardner. To the best of my knowledge, no, it was not included in any CIPs up until this point.
Is there a higher priority need?
I don't know if I would be, unfortunately, I have to give the answer. I don't have the information tonight. I
That's
would
probably
have to
an
have
unfair question, but-
sit down with our public works staff and itemize and prioritize which needs that they would foresee for the rest of the year. Again, because of how the budget turned out with the crack and seal coat, it gave them an opportunity to place a smaller item in with the remaining budget in 2025. That's why you're seeing this tonight. But if we can absolutely follow up with staff and get that answer to you and the council.
Thank you.
Justin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you explain, without a department head there right now, like where this request would have come from? Like,
Typically, it would have been from the Public Works Superintendent to the Public Works Director. And then Administrator Valiant or myself would have met with the department head to review the request. So I did have an opportunity to sit down. We do have weekly meetings with our Public Works Superintendent, our Public Wastewater Superintendent. And this was brought up this morning, and I did review that with them. And that was the explanation that was given to me this morning. But I think it was maybe brought up a week ago.
Yeah, I'd like to address that too. This was brought up to the Public Works Director earlier when they found out where the crack and seal coating was. But because we didn't have final numbers on crack and seal coating, we were not going to bring this forward. We now have final on crack and seal coating, so we're know where we're at. So this is an operational cost. Crack and seal coating is an operational cost, so it's not anything to do with bonding or anything like that. It's operational, fits within our operational budget.
thank you.
Steve, you want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve item number E, Public Works Snow Pusher Purchase.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Oss. And Nelson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passes. Next is the Aquatic Center Pool Filter Insurance Claim, and Kyle, you're up there, so go for it.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, the council is being asked to adopt a resolution approving a quote from Horizon Pool to replace the sand filters at the Dorothy Olson Aquatic Center for $123,000. Included in your council action request, you can see the overview of the agenda item. Going back to May of this year, city staff discovered that there were 2 out of the 3 sand filters that run the DOAC were broken due to pipes freezing over the winter. Staff contacted the pool vendor to assess the damage and repair. However, the supplier was unable to obtain the necessary parts prior to the pool opening up this year. Staff worked with the Health Department, Renville County Health Department, requested a site visit, and during that inspection, it was determined that the filters could be potentially repiped to restore functionality for the 2025 pool season. However, Public Health indicated that if repiping was successful, the pool would be operational for this year, but we would need to replace those filters entirely and the piping entirely prior to the start of the 2026 season. Staff were successful and repiped the sand filters and were able to allow the pool to be operational this year. We did reach out and filed a claim with the League of Minnesota Cities, and that has been accepted and approved. We did obtain 3 quotes for replacement of the project from Horizon Pools, however, for $123,000. The city's insurance deductible is $100,000. So there would be an $8,000 cost increase to order the pool filters if we did not do that, or if the council did not act before January 1st of this next year. So that's why it's before you tonight. And then we are projecting or asking for there was the $100,000 insurance deductible and the cost for replacement. The additional $23,000 that would get back would be coming out of the sale of the Rice Home Medical Building, dollars that council had previously set aside earlier this year. So again, this is the action tonight is again adopting the resolution from Horizon Pool to replace the sand filters at the DOAC for $123,000. I'll pause there, Mr. Mayor.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion. Carl?
Regarding the pipes freezing, have steps been taken to ensure that that won't happen again, or why did they freeze this time?
Yeah, that's a great question, Councilmember Scholdes. I don't know if we'll ever know why they did not freeze, but staff will ensure that the proper clean out and winterizing of the pool is done every year to make sure that we don't run into any issues like that in the future, to the best that we can.
Vicki?
That was my question.
Okay. Audrey?
Just curious about the insurance claim. Should we have filed that claim before we fixed the pool last year? Would that have made any difference to
No.
the amounts or,
Yep.
I mean, because we had costs involved with fixing it, and now we have to do it again. And so I'm just curious if we should have filed a claim before.
Councilmember Nelson, we filed the claim almost immediately and started working
Okay.
with the league. So we were working
Before
with
it
the
was
league.
fixed.
Correct,
Okay.
throughout the
All
entire
right.
process.
Thank you, I read it wrong then.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to point out that in the car that we will be probably approximately another $3,000 will be in, from the insurance claim also on the parts and repairs that we did for the temporary fix. It's the last sentence in the car.
Yep.
Okay. Any further questions? Discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Gardner,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Schuldes,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
and Gilbertson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passes. Next is the Aquatic Center pool slide replacement, and I'll call on Kyle once again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For tonight, for your consideration this evening is a resolution approving the purchase of a water slide from Horizon Pools for $20,183. Again, this was a part of the CIP tour that the council took earlier this year and has been a topic of conversation for the last couple of budget cycles on replacement of the frog slide. It has, the current frog slide at the DOAC has undergone 3 prior repairs, and due just to normal wear and tear, its repair is no longer feasible. So within your packet, you can see a quote from Horizon Pools, which is replacing the frog slide with a new Pelican slide on the zero depth side of the pool of the Aquatic Center. And then what we are asking for council to consider, this is not going to be coming out of capital improvement because of the budget with the DOAC this year. We do have room within the operating budget to make this capital purchase possible for 2025.
And this was 20,283.
20,183.
I've got 283 on mine, so.
Yeah, this one's wrong.
Yeah, it should be 183.
Okay. Duly noted, $20,183. Call for a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion.
That's the question.
Audrey?
Does this mean we didn't lose money at the Dorothy Olson Aquatic Center this year?
Did we lose money? No, Not sure how you want me to answer that, Councilmember Nelson. No,
Well, it says we have
are under budget.
25,000 remaining in the budget.
We are under budget.
We're under budget, but did we lose money?
I do not know off the top of my head where revenues came in for
Okay.
the pool, but we can
This is-
follow up.
Only expense budget that you're referencing.
This will be coming out of the expense budget, correct?
Any other questions? Roll call.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Ost.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
And Gardner.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council.
Next is Socorro Consulting, and I'll call on our city administrator, Leslie.
Minute here, please. Good evening, council. So tonight, I'm presenting to you a proposal with Dr. Robert Sikora. And excuse me, because something is missing. Dr. Robert Sikora is the head of Sikora Consulting, which is a transforming government in processes and provides every municipality with the opportunity to enhance the way it serves its customers and citizens, creating meaningful and lasting impact. We have been introduced to Sikora Consulting, an organization that specializes in clarifying and aligning purpose and strategy across departments and roles, linking to your interest in mission, vision, and outcomes, strengthening trust, internal culture and engagement, which supports performance and service delivery, equals budget, CIP, infrastructure delivery. Build leadership capacity at multiple levels, not just executive, which is relevant for municipal staff and cross-functional projects. Enable continuous improvement of processes, team dynamics, and customer, citizen, stakeholder experiences. Their work supports organizations in transforming their performance and delivering even greater value through council and staff goal alignment, seeking out effective budget processes. I would also like to point out in the CAR that it says the total is $140,000 and 50% of it would be paid from the budget deposit. That is not quite correct. And the 50% deposit actually is based on the first phase and such. But I'd also like to point out to council that if you approve this project, that we would be paying at least 50% of the project this year so that we would have less impact on next year's budget. And we do have the funding within this year's budget for this process. So at this time, though, I'd like to introduce Dr. Robert Sikora, and he can then enlighten you on his processes. Yes, thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Sikora. Good to see you
Also,
again.
Good to see you, sir. Does it look like it's popping up? Okay. Good evening. So when I am asked to take a look at an organization with my crew, the first place we go to is the overall mission and the purpose of the organization. And when we went online to look at the city of Willmar, it was very well-written, well-outlined set of purpose statements, vision, mission, and value statements. Everything we do is in alignment with the organization's mission and vision and values. And we're here to work to enhance that and to help to allow that to be maximized. Our organization,
we guide organizations of all kinds to create employee-led cultures of engagement and performance. So it's looking at the human side of the organization to drive whatever the operational side is all about. So it's looking at both parts of that. Ultimately, it's to build trust with purpose. So we look at the purpose of your organization, and through the most valued currency that exists, trust, we help to drive that within the organization. When organizations come to us, there's usually one or two of the spokes of the helm that they're having issues with. It could be a lack of vision. It could be a lack of leadership development. A lot of times we're asked to come in because there's trust issues within the organization, or the teams aren't effective, but whatever the case might be. But what we realize when we go in is that it's not just one of the spokes. It's usually all spokes are somehow impacted by this. So when we're asked to come in, it's a lot like if you have a pickup truck, let's say, and you know that there's something wrong. You hear something that's an issue, and you go into one service delivery, and they're like, yep, the timing's off, or whatever the case might be, and they're kind of guessing at what it is. When we come in, we're asked to look at it from a diagnostic standpoint. We come in and take a look at all 8 spokes. So it's like getting a really good tune-up, but you've got the diagnostics. You know where the area or the issue is. We get asked to come in and take a look because leadership is dysfunctional, or it's not functioning the way it needs to align to whatever the goals are. But when we do the diagnostics, we find out there's other systemic issues, there's process issues, and then there's things that might be happening at the dynamics within the teams. So when we go through that discovery process, we're able to provide the organization with a prioritized list, as it were, of the areas of opportunity. And then the organization is left with the decision on how do we want to proceed. And we've got the tools by which to go ahead and help in that process. So that's what the HELM is. The HELM is a model that exists and it is applicable to every organization we've ever worked with across the globe, both profit, nonprofit, and government-wise. And so that's the first phase that Leslie was mentioning, that we come in and we help with the diagnostic side of collecting data here to clearly be able to show where the areas of opportunity are within the city. And then from there, it becomes a prioritized discussion on where do we want to go to help to improve the performance of the organization. So any questions with that? We also look at it from an individual perspective. So it's not just the organizational operations, but we get into understanding ourselves as leaders and allowing individuals to have the greatest impact that they can as employees within the organization as well. So that's the individual helm. And ultimately, what this provides the organization is the impact in these different areas as it relates to human performance, talent and employee engagement, operational and organizational process excellence, and then the impact that it has on the community and the customers that you serve. So everything ultimately relates to a better product and service for the community at large that you serve, along with hitting the financial goals that you're looking at. So the investment becomes an investment to make the engine, as it were, more effective, both currently and in the long term. And that's one of the reasons why we do like working with city and county governments, is because unlike for-profit, where it's always, in which we work with as well, but looking at the quarterly gains, you're looking at things from a much longer perspective, the legacy, generational, which is wonderful. This is the crew that we have that help to serve. Myself, Michaela Alt would be kind of a second support, and then we've got Dr. Akil Walton and Cammie Summers that would also be helping behind the scenes on the data collection and the analysis. The way in which we outline the project that's consistent with other cities and counties that we work with, we'd be looking at a formal kickoff for the program where everybody understands the why, what it is that it's expected of them, and the impact that we're looking to have for the city. Everyone gets involved as change champions in the communication of what it is that we're trying to do and the impact that we're trying to have. We conduct interviews, appreciative inquiry, and data collection, again, to get really clear on where the areas of opportunity exist and where one of the questions I like to ask is where all the success is happening, and making sure that we're reinforcing and bringing even higher value in those areas as well. So we do full theme analysis, we do the data collection, the collection of that, but we also assess the leaders from different perspectives of personality style, EQ, and things of that nature to really understand how we all operate as individuals and collectively. If there's a need for focus groups, we bring focus groups in as well to gain clarity around the work that we're doing, the analysis, and then the design. Ultimately, that culminates into an offsite where the leaders come together, we look at the data, we interact with one another, we get clear on the different dynamics of the relationships, building trust amongst that, having breakthroughs in a lot of different ways, and then looking at the data and starting to prioritize and work through what is it exactly that we need to work on and what is the process for that. So the discovery phase is what was mentioned, that's the phase one, okay? And from there, you know, the cost associated with future engagements is based upon what is the work that you want to do internally. And then the quarterly pulses allow you to continue to measure and maintain and monitor the work that has been done to ensure that the improvements continue to happen, the investment sticks, and you're able to have the longitudinal impact of that. And that's the quarterly piece. There's always the opportunity to go deeper in the assessments. We do a lot of 360 work with leaders and really gaining better insight, again, on how they can become more effective as leaders within the organization as well. And that's what gets into a lot of what we call kind of the ad hoc opportunities. But when we looked at this particular project and we priced it, what we call the discovery phase in the program kickoff, there's a lot of work that goes into that along with the assessments. So that was the estimate there. From there, it's implementing the programs, it's implementing the different aspects of the prioritization of the work that you're looking at. It's training the folks on site to do, you know, to be able to do the work. We don't set it up so that we're part of your organization that sticks with it. We certify and train people to be able to do the work that we do, and then ultimately you get into the quarterly measurement and the pulses that allow you to maintain and monitor the work that you're doing. Those are additional services. We did estimate what it would look like. Well, here's the impact, going back to the return on investment. Greater alignment to your overall purpose that we talked about earlier. It's ongoing leadership development, effective leaders throughout the entire city. Leadership continuity and stability within the leadership ranks. Building trust with purpose, as we mentioned. Creating an intentional culture, one that really aligns to the overall strategy. Building effective and strong teams. And then the work performances, looking at the services, the programs that you provide for your community. And then there's just, again, a long list of other benefits. When we work on the human side of any organization, there's a lot of soft dollar impact, we call it. The ability to be more effective from an engagement standpoint, a performance standpoint. It's taking the investment that you've already made into salaries and earnings that people have in producing a better result from that, and in the processes that you've already invested in. So again, it's looking at what you've already invested in and saying, okay, we're making a little bit deeper of an investment to allow for greater impact both currently and in the future. And that's ultimately what is the work that we do. We did put together a bit of a tighter, what we called focused investment, looking at coming in, doing the discovery work, maybe doing some targeted leadership development based on some of the needs that was already identified. This was what was presented to us initially, and then we stepped back a little bit and we said, okay, is there other things that are going on within the system we don't know? And that's where the discovery process really comes into play. So that's the presentation. It's a little bit of a modification from what I presented earlier when we had the calls, but just wanted to offer that again. Any questions?
Questions from the council? I like to believe that our performance is good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reluctant. I don't know. What does the rest of the council feel? And I think we got to take some time to really digest this.
I appreciate the word that you use, that the performance is good. where, probably some of the areas that I relish the most in working with organizations is where we go from good to great. And there's those, it's that fine tuning and really being able to maximize what we're able to do, because a lot of times we don't know where we can become great. And that's just part of, you know, the continuous improvement and raising the bar. So, but yeah, you know, I'm not here to say that you need to do this. I'm just here in response to a request that there was opportunity within the city to be able to do some work from a leadership perspective and a cultural perspective. And this is the approach that we use and the one that we have incredible impact and results on every time we've done it. So yeah, when we deal with organizations that are broken, obviously there's a huge intervention opportunity, but when you are good, it's definitely an opportunity to go even greater. Sorry.
Well, I think we can take some time to review this and address it at another council meeting.
Sounds great.
All right?
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. So any announcements?
I have one, which not sure if anybody has heard, but the big turkey giveaway on Saturday that Jenny O and the Food Shelf did was a very huge success. They gave away 5,000 turkey breasts, and so thanks to all the volunteers and everybody that did all the work to go into that.
Thank you, Leslie, for pointing that out. That was a nice write-up in the West Central Tribune. All right, well, we'll go into closed session. The agenda item is a non-annual evaluation of the performance of City of Willmar City Administrator under Minnesota Statutes, Section 13D.05, Subdivision 3A. The employee is Leslie Valiant. This portion of the meeting will be closed under such statute. I will now entertain a motion to close this portion of the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
And Davis.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passes. Now go into closed session here in the city council chambers. Only the city council and designated officials may initially attend the closed session. Ms. Valiant, we will proceed initially in a closed session without you in attendance at this point. So please leave the room and inform us where you will be, and we will get you for the portion of the meeting